Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minions with me this evening are Tyr
What up?
and Jen.
Hello.
And as it is once again a Friday, I'm the keeper for this evening, Sanguine. How are both of you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. I may have to dip out at 1 tonight, but
Okay,
that's neither here nor there.
Okay, we're good.
fair enough. When you have to go, just let me know, and we can do parting words and close out.
Okay.
How about you, Jen?
I'm good. We have a little tiny teeny bit of a heat wave in my area. I don't want to jinx it either because everybody else had a real one. And I know that because I've seen numbers, and I was sitting there with my arms crossed, being like, "Stay away, stay away." But we haven't gone up that much, but it's still enough that I'm like, shit, gross.
Yeah. It's enough that you're going, I don't like this. This is hot. Make it stop.
Make it stop.
No, other than that, I'm pretty good. I just wanted to say one more thing because we were in a conversation before in the StreamYards. One of the things that I thought was kind of weird from watching abandoned house videos, Sanguine. The people who pickle their own things, I'm not saying they always last, but sometimes they do. Like in comparison to
That's
like,
weird.
If you know how to pickle things properly, pickled things last an age.
like it's really the manufactured stuff where you start to question things because there's really is time limited. Like even jams with the. But like my grandmother really did have jams that could last like 3 years if she just left them sealed in a proper, basement. Like,
With jams, it has to do with the amount of sugar in them. So the more concentratedly sugary jams tend to last better because it ends up going kind of the same way that honey does, where honey doesn't go bad. Honey only can crystallize.
well, I know she pickled other things as well, but like I think it's just like German side family, She did more jams than necessarily the pickled stuff, but I think a lot of grandparents probably understand this one. It's also being a child of World War II. Like, she wasn't an adult for that. She was like 13, but she remembers the famine,
Well,
So
like I
famine
said,
era, yeah, they did more sugar in a lot of things.
when it comes to jams, the trick is the more sugary the jam, the better it tends to last. Also, the way that jams, when you're home canning, are canned, it is insanely pasteurized
Okay.
by its very nature. That's the only way that those little lids stick on. I'm talking about the double metal lid, where it's the collar and then just the little bit of metal that gets stuck down on the jar. So, as you're boiling them, in order to get the lid to sit properly on it, you're pasteurizing it. And then it pasteurizes under pressure because it ends up being negatively pressured on the inside, which sucks that lid down. So you have extremely sugary, boiled jam that nothing is alive in it, and anything that would be able to survive the boiling, it is in such an insanely high sugar content solution that it ends up, like I said, going almost that honey route, where it's so much sugar and nothing else that life can't really propagate in it, because bacteria, they need to be able to maintain homeostasis, and a good chunk of that is osmotic pressure. Bacteria that are able to survive the boiling end up in a sugary solution that is massive amount of osmotic force pulling water out, which prevents the bacteria from being able to grow and being able to survive. So That's really what it comes down to. It's the way that it's canned and the way that it's made. Whereas a lot of modern jams and jellies, they aren't under the same sort of pressure as home canning.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get boiled as long as home canning. They're much more gently made. Also, they tend to have other things rather than just a shit ton of sugar in order to thicken them. So you end up with pectins and things like that, which you'll get in homemade jams as well, but the concentration of stabilizers in modern jams and jellies is higher than in homemade. So they end up not having much that can cause things to grow, and as long as they stay canned, it's effectively vacuum packed jam.
I think it's another one of those manufacturing things. Like, it's kind of like what they do with our meat nowadays. Yeah, they want you to have a certain amount of lifespan because that's what they market it for, but at the same time, they still want you to buy more.
I've seen some. So I had to be told that fresh meat does turn a certain color, and that
That grays.
yeah, it grays, and if it's too pink, it's not. It's shit done to it.
Yep.
Well, most of the time, the shit done to it is it's packed with a little bit of gas.
Mm-hmm.
So just displaces the oxygen. The reason that things gray is oxygen content. So if you limit the oxygen content by vacuum sealing meat, vacuum sealed meat doesn't really go gray unless you fuck it up. Because the meat is vacuum sealed. It will stay vibrantly pink. Because no oxygen can reach the heme and cause it to change.
Well, again, I didn't know that until after someone explained it to me.
Yep.
It's a lot of things like the hams and things like that. Like, I've gotten a little bit more picky about which ones I'll buy, and I look at packages different. Like,
Yeah, so do I.
Like, if they're really watery, I won't buy those because, like, there are certain brands where they're deliberately curing the hams wrong, I would say. Honestly, because
not that it's cured wrong. It's you have wet cures and you have dry cures.
yeah,
And dry cures used to be the preferred method for most people. Because dry cures, that's how you get a table ham. Or
Table ham. That sounds tasty.
table ham is a ham that you can just leave on a table.
Oh.
yeah,
And then you carve off a little bit of ham and you just leave it there. You don't have to do anything special to it in order to be able to use it. The thing is that it is extremely salty.
yeah, it is. Even
Because-
if it's like a prosciutto.
That's the way that it actually survives. Or it is extremely heavily smoked, so you can get some table hams that are just absolutely insanely smoked, and they still have a good amount of salt, which can allow them to be table hams, sometimes called country hams, rather than city hams. City hams are typically wet, cured. Wet cure ends up with the meat not as salty, much more pliable and tender. So there's a lot of reasons why people like wet cure, but wet cure doesn't last as long. And wet cure, when it goes very quickly. So it goes from, this might be at the end of its life to the next day you're going, oh my god, what the fuck is this smell?
What the hell is this?
Because it turns, and it turns fast. Whereas dry cure country hams, when they start to go, they go very slow.
It's to the point where, like, you can almost cut it off.
Yeah.
I just I don't know when I started thinking this way, Sanguine, because I grew up with the wet hams too, and I remember when they were peddling those as being better for you and stuff. But I just now, in my elder age, I kind of disagree.
Elder age.
I know 44 and all that shit, but I
Jen,
just
you're making me seem old.
but I just I think
You both are gonna die of old age before I do. On the
Fuck off, young man.
But I think the older way of doing the hams was better. Like I did work in a deli, and I admit that some of the dry hams, like they were better. Like they tasted better, they had a better texture. With the wet hams, most people just want you to shave it, and I'm just like, so you wanted ham mush?
You want a naked ham?
Ham mush. When you take a ham and you slice it so thin that it falls apart, and then you end up with a pile of mush.
Yep. I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
I like my ham nice and firm. I like a thick cut.
Yeah.
Not too thick, but maybe a centimeter and a half.
Yeah, the only hams that I thought should be thin like that were the prosciuttos, because they are designed to be thin. But they are really salty. Like Sanguine isn't wrong. They cure them for 2 years with salt, and I mean they use herbs and other things too to flavor it, but it's a really really good ham. Like if you know how to cook with it, you realize you don't need a lot to get the flavor from it because there's so much flavor in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if there's country ham though, and you're trying to cook country ham, that's when you end up having to first step. Boil country ham 2 days.
Yeah, get this all off.
Second step. Change water. Boil another day. Third step. Cold rinse ham. Fourth step. Now you can roast it. And you're going, what the fuck is wrong with this? Because it is just that amount of salt that you need to boil it for an extended period of time. And then you cold soak it. And then you rinse it, and then you can roast it.
Well, it's the understanding that like a lot of times, if you were going to use it as it was, you're putting a really small slice into a soup.
Yep.
Like it's really just there to flavor the soup and give it the salt and the meat. Mm-hmm. Like it does soften into a meat, but yeah, a lot of pottage used to be what people ate back in the day, and we don't really eat pottage anymore. I will someday, Sanguine. I am planning to work out some pottages because it's honestly just vegetables and meat in a pot.
I had a pottage yesterday.
Yeah.
I had today. I wanted to make my own tomb, but I went and bought because I have a magic bullet and a shit ton of garlic because I was gonna make garlic butter. And, But I went and bought some tomb, and I'm like, oh god, this shit is amazing. So for those that don't know, tomb is just fucking garlic, olive oil, salt, and fucking lemon juice.
Yep.
Nice.
But tomb is the whipped one, whereas there's a non-whipped one. So you have aioli, which everyone knows aioli is effectively mayo with garlic.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have alioli, which most people do not know. And alioli is you take a mortar and pestle. You throw in a fistful of garlic, you grind that down into a paste. You throw in a fistful of garlic, you grind that down into a paste. You throw in a fistful of garlic, you grind that down into a paste. Then you grab olive oil, and you slowly pour in olive oil as you just keep on grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. And you end up with this mayo consistency spread that is nothing but garlic and oil.
Okay. I understand that, yeah. Because a lot of people don't... Oh.
It is that sharp, fresh garlic flavor.
Well, tomb
is effectively alioli that then you whip a shit ton of air into. And you add some lemon juice. And you were saying, Jen?
You like tomb, cat?
Well, I was
Sorry.
just gonna say that mayo is technically just oil and egg whites. So
Well, I used to make my own mayo,
Yep.
and
Oh.
I use lemon juice, mustard, olive oil, light olive oil, and a whole egg,
Yep.
and put it in like the immersion blender.
yeah,
So yeah, there's a bunch of different types of mayo that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
The mayo that I tend to like the most is a Japanese style mayo. So
yeah, they do a creamy one, don't they?
the store bought is Kewpie, but you can make your own Japanese style mayo. The difference between a Japanese style mayo and a standard mayo
Mm-hmm.
is Japanese style mayo, like Kewpie, is all yolk.
Just yolk.
So
Okay.
no egg white, just egg yolk.
Such a Japanese thing to do.
And it
I
ends
love
up-
them for their creativity, but like it's such.
It ends up so rich and unctuous and creamy. It's amazing.
I wonder. I didn't look at shit. Maybe I should have looked yesterday, but I wonder. Let me see.
So again, you came in slightly.
Oh
Muff-
no, I got a cat on my chest, and I'm trying to keep her comfortable and not claw my lung out.
Ah,
My buddy also has a cat, but it's a new cat. She's I think 6 months old now. Like she's old enough to jump off the chair. She has a thing for running up him and then jumping off his chair when he's on stream.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm streaming, and I'm talking, and out of nowhere, she jumps on my leg like, motherfucker, goddamn it. Because all of a sudden, I go from talking to having cat.
Yep. To having sharp little claws ripping into your legs.
Yep.
I mean, I like both dogs and cats, so I'm not really partial, but I like that about cats. I'm like, you're a spicy little shit, aren't you? Dogs, on the other hand, if they're doing that, they're trying to either mooch from you or they want to become lap dog, and like.
Well, again, we've tamed dogs far longer than we've tamed cats. We've essentially cats, by comparison to our relationship with dogs, cats are still fairly wild.
Mm-hmm.
But our relationship to dogs, there's been predating Ice Age,
Yep.
shit that they've been our pet since before the Ice Age.
Yep.
And the really cool thing about dogs is dogs have become several times domesticated independently.
Yep.
Yeah, because again, the dogs that if I'm nice and docile to the human and help him hunt food, I don't gotta work as hard. Got it. and that dog teaches his dogs, his children, and his children their children teach their children. It just
It's why I sometimes have to remind myself, and then I don't tell other city folk what to do, but like in all honesty, wolves are not like they are a dog, but they're not a dog. Like I really love wolves, but like I wouldn't really pet one, and I wouldn't maybe a puppy, but
I mean, wolves still understand. Like there's a video of a man helping a wolf out of a trap,
yeah,
and the wolf looks at him, and runs
they're
off.
not stupid. They're not dumb animals, but I think it's also just I think it's situational. Like if I was really buck fuck up north and say it was like a plane crash or something, no, I'm not playing with the wolves because those ones will actually hunt you. It's not to say that they can't be friendly or be like, okay, you're kind of weird, but it's if you're far enough north, there is a survival of the fitness rule. Like it is kind of in place. So like some animals might be a little bit friendly to you 1 minute, and then the next minute, your lunch because I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alberta does have reserves for wolves. I would go to those. I'm not saying that I would pet the wolves, but I would go to those because at least you can howl with the wolves, or I don't know if they have something where you could. I don't think they let you feed them, but maybe they have puppies that you can pet or something. But those ones have been hand raised almost. Like they're one step up from being a dog.
A lot of animals have been like there are certain animals that we would consider wild that have been hand raised. Like there are a bunch of moose that are more. They aren't as wild because they're so used to humans giving them fucking food and shit.
Just because we have a Canadian on air with us tonight doesn't mean that you can call them domesticated moose.
I'm sorry. She's a domesticated beaver.
Well, but I have to tell you something though, Tyr.
Yes.
Whenever I watch a video with somebody who's riding a moose, the thing that I respect the most isn't that they're riding the moose. It's that the moose trusts them and likes them enough to let them do that, because that's the truth. It's the amount of respect for how much they bonded with that animal, and maybe it started with food, maybe they were young, maybe they rescued them, because some animals do remember that kind of stuff. Like that, it's not an impossible story. But moose are always wild.
Like, I got a question for you, Jen.
Yeah.
So we have the image of the Russian riding on the bear, and do you have the image of the Mountie riding on the moose?
A Mountie, no, but there was a story of some lady. There's actually a couple of those stories, but people who just rescued a baby moose and it grew up. They tried to release it and it just followed them around everywhere, and so they're like, "Fuck it, I'll see if I can ride you." And the damn thing's like, "Sure, okay."
Wow.
It's not a Mountie thing though. It's because even those people would not encourage somebody to do that, because like that's some moose can turn around and just still beat the shit out of you anyway. Like they're
fucking huge.
They're ornery, they're territorial. There's a lot of testosterone during rut season. Like I wouldn't get near those guys. I just watch them fight each other and see if one picks one off.
Shit, I seen a moose with like his rival's antlers in his fucking head or in his horns.
Mm-hmm.
Cause he just fucking ripped it out.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Sanguine. I don't mean to jump top, but I really want to talk about that Carmelo Anthony and shit.
Yeah, there's two different cases that are the reason for tonight's title. Whose crime is it anyways? Because...
And sorry, Jen.
Two of them, for some fucking reason, despite both of them being open and shut, obvious cases, people like to treat like they aren't. The one that Tyr wants to hop into is the bit about Carmelo Anthony's case.
Yeah. I've been following some of that too. That one and the Nolan.
All right, so listening to all the shit currently going on, this kid really needs to stay where he is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. I was listening to some of the stuff they were saying about Metcalf and his brother and whatnot, and it seemed like, all right. So they said like, all right, he painted racial graffiti when he was a kid. Okay, I've done that. I've made the edgy joke as an adult and as a kid too. So can't get wrong with that. And then he got into a fight with a female. Like they're trying to make it seem like it's one side. But I want to know, what did she do to him? Like, what is this? It takes two to tango. So what'd she do? I want to know, like, with it. And I bring that around to say is because with the talk of this new trial, they're going to bring in this character, these character things,
Assassinations, yeah.
Well, not even assassinations. These are shit he said. Like, he threatened his girlfriend, like, he was going to kill her. Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, yeah.
He had armed robbery and whatnot. He brought a gun to a state fair. You know, he thought about killing somebody like a week maybe before the murder. Like, this kid was not a good kid. Like, he got suspended a bunch of times. He was not this angel people are making him out to be. He was a little fucking monster. And don't get me wrong, the Metcalf boys weren't, sunshine and fucking rainbows themselves, but at least they weren't fucking a consistent group of assholes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the pro blackity blacks with the with their constant, oh well, he was an innocent and he was defending himself. All right, why did you bring the whole thing hinges on bringing the knife to the fucking track meet? Why'd you bring it?
It's entirely premeditated, is what it looks like.
Yes, and again, like, why'd you bring the whole crux of people's arguments and the issue is, why did you have the weapon there? Explain to me why you had the weapon. Well, he needed for self-defense. Yeah, but from what? You know, you don't go to a trap meet with 100 teachers around and think, yeah, I'm going to get fucked up. Yeah, so I'm going to need my knife. You know, so you'd had to have there for some odd reason. Because, again, it can't be self-defense because you had no reason to think you'd be in danger.
Mm-hmm.
It's also one of those things where, as somebody who's never been to their stadium, the whole excuse that he needed to be in a tent because it was raining, there was so many places on that stadium ground where you could have gone in where it would have been public ground. So no, he didn't need to go and hide in somebody else's tent. So bringing a knife,
even if it was, well, I wanted to get out of the rain. The way that you do that is,
hey, it's raining, can I stay here?
Yep. You have to get out. You go, it's really pissing it down for the moment. Can I just stand near the flap until it lets up and then I'll go?
But see, the problem is, if you look at it, it wasn't raining hard. It was a light drizzle at best. Like, dude, I love light drizzles.
It's not just that. It's when you look at the entrance of the stadium where he goes in, that very entrance has a space where you could literally duck in and be fine from the rain. So,
remember you gotta remember they got told they couldn't stand there.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
And it was a bunch of them standing around, and all of them were told, "Hey, you can't stand here. You're blocking the entrance."
Okay.
You know, so it wasn't that, he could just sit there. But again, why wasn't his school? Because he was supposed to be there with his school. So why wasn't his school tent up? And if they were waiting to put their tent up, why didn't he go assist so he can stand underneath?
Or like I said, really coming down. Hey man, I'm not supposed to be in your tent. It's really pissing it down. Can I just stand here for a moment, let it ease up a bit, and then I'll be out of your hair?
Or can I stand here until they put my school's tent up?
Yep.
You know, again, just let somebody know, like, hey, just stay up, make sure you stay over there, and you don't come too far in because this is technically our space and our locker room, and you're not supposed to be here. But hey, I get it; it's raining.
Yep.
It's just
And as someone who did sports in high school, I can almost guarantee their response would have been, just don't touch anything.
Yeah, again, and especially again the whole having a knife isn't the issue. It's what he chose. No, again, the knife is the issue. Like, why'd you? All right, now I can understand if you had credible threats against your life, so you needed some sort of self defense because you're expecting somebody to attack you.
So one of the things that
So-
I
Okay.
sorry, one of the things that I know about this case is at least 2 or 3 of the kids that were at that school in that tent did kind of know that they did know who Camelo was. I can't help wondering if they didn't already kind of know his reputation.
Well, it was that one of the kids in the tent knew of him. Like they're all friends. Like, no, we weren't friends. I knew his girl and we were cool, and I said hi to him because cordiality. But he ain't my friend.
See, the thing is that I get what Rotten's saying. It isn't the
Knife
knife,
itself.
it's what he did with it. And yes, absolutely. At the same time, it would be a different matter if it was a area where he would have been allowed to have the knife. If it was they were out at a campsite and he had a knife. Okay. Yeah. They were wandering around just doing whatever. Okay. They were at a school function that doesn't allow the possession of weapons. Now, I think that the rule not allowing the possession of weapons is a bit of bullshit because that just tells me, oh, so if you bring a weapon there, you're the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
He
it's
had a weapon
also
where it wasn't supposed to.
well that's basically what happened in the first case. Like they had to get rid of some of the jury because they were teachers, and they're like, well, the teachers would have automatically called him guilty because the kids know not to bring knives to the school or school events. Like it's against the rules.
You also have another issue that pisses me off. So, again, they constantly screaming, "Oh, there wasn't a black juror on there, so it's not fair." Like, again, jury of your peers doesn't mean a whole black juror. Like, he's entitled to have at least one black juror. No, that's not how any of that fucking works.
Mm-hmm.
It also
A jury of your peers does not mean a jury of your race.
It's also everybody crying about that. They're the same people who were outright saying that if they were on the jury, they would be biased. They would automatically.
And the reason why there weren't black jurors was every juror that was or every possible juror that was black, when they were asked, do you think that you can maintain objectiveness
Mm-hmm.
and go with the evidence of the courtroom? They went no. And because they said no, the prosecution went, okay, we'd like them to be removed from the pool.
Yeah,
Because-
again, you don't have objectivity.
Yeah, if you are unable to call a spade, when it comes down to it, you shouldn't be in the jury.
Nope.
And that you removed yourself from the juror pool by saying, yeah, I wouldn't be able to be honest. I wouldn't be able to call it for what it is. First of all, kind of fucked up that that's the case, but also, in a weird way, thank you for being honest. Because had they not been honest about that, they might have ended up on the jury.
And it might have fucking tainted the.
Yep.
I gotta.
But
Well, I gotta be real with you, Tier. Like, part of my fatigue isn't with black people. It's actually with the activists who do this kind of shit because they're the most sociopathic group of people I've ever seen talk
No,
on
no,
behalf of others.
no, Jen. My fatigue is with the black people. Like, I'm tired of people who instead of looking at things objectively, sorry, look at things from, oh well, skin folk mean kinfolk.
It's just
You know.
there's so many cases lately where everywhere you feel sympathy for the case, these people just speak from such a level of ignorance. Like I
Oh
think
no.
there's like
But
sorry, Tier. It's just like there's like three cases where it looks like it was suicide, and these people are so hell bent on hating white people that they're just like, I would rather it be a white person that did this or a group of white people than just acknowledge that somebody was suffering with mental health issues. And I'm just like, you are the worst group of people to live near.
Mm-hmm.
If you had mental health issues or if you were screaming for help, you're the worst people to live near.
shit, but it's still again. You have shit like the guy that was walking around and punched two white women, black
Yep.
guy. Why? What did they do to you? That mind your own fucking business. They did. You just randomly cold cocked somebody because you felt the way about it, or you have the ones that constantly say, you know, you, it's racist when a white person does it, but when a black person does it, it's all well and good. So when a black person doesn't, white person doesn't want to associate with another fucking race, another group, that's racism. But when you want your pro blackity black space, it's all good. That's reparation. That's black empowerment. Why? How? Well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Like if you know about the I think it's called Return to the Land, right? So Return to the Land was a bunch of white people getting together saying like, we don't want to fucking live near nobody but our own. Okay. And then a bunch of like they didn't want any Jew like they're allowed free association under the law. If they want to pull their money together collectively and form their little enclave, go fucking right ahead. But it's wrong. But I can name two distinct black groups that did it before. The Black Hammer movement by Ghazi fucking Kodo when they went to like somewhere up in the mountains. Yeah, somewhere up in the mountains and tried to fucking form like their own independent fucking nation. And then another like group they try to make like another Black Wall Street where a bunch of families got together and they try to buy some land and they still haven't fucking done anything with it like after 5 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, in defense of the Black Hammer movement, their leader did kill someone. Or no, it wasn't their leader. It was because Ghazi wasn't their leader. But didn't Ghazi fucking kill someone?
Technically, they didn't prove that Ghazi killed the person. It was that, but they got him on evidence tampering and mishandling of corpse and concealment of a corpse. I think they didn't get him on like murder, but they got him on something else. They couldn't prove like he did it specifically, but he still was liable for the shit that happened because he technically was the head of that little enclave, that little group there.
It was like a RICO charge, but with murder.
Yeah. Well, they weren't necessarily murder. Like again, they didn't get him on murder. If I'm not mistaken, they didn't get Ghazi on murder. They got him with some minor technicalities. He got some serious time. He got a couple of felonies because those were serious ass felonies.
I thought they were able to demonstrate that the guy who died was murdered, just they couldn't say it was specifically this person or that person.
Don't really. I think they did, but again, they like at most they could only get him on like concealment because again, without corroborating witnesses and people testifying against them, you can't say, oh well, he killed them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So any good lawyer would like, well, there's no, yes, we have a body, but we don't have a murder. You know, again, there's no one to corroborate, you know, no evidence to say, and any witness isn't talking. Okay.
I could have sworn they did a Manson-style thing with him where it was... We can't say for sure
I'm going to have to look that one
that
up.
he was the one who did the murder, but we can say he was the one who caused the murder.
As soon as I can get out this TFO and I'm finished, I'm going to look that one up.
Okay.
Cause I'm not so sure about that one.
Yeah, I could be wrong. It's been a few years.
But you know, I think he's happy in prison. I mean, all the penis he could want.
Yep.
You know,
I thought you were going to say something entirely different with that, though.
What?
I think he's happy in prison. I mean, he's finally away from most of the Mayo complexion.
Yeah, tall-C complexion individuals. You know, the Alabaster savages. You know, he's not with the male monkeys.
Not with the Neanderthals.
Oh God, no, not the Neanderthals. Oh God.
Who is you?
Oh God, he is gay and all outdoors. I do like Suit Yourself's nickname for him, Blitler. Called him Blitler. Oh,
No,
God.
he was Blimler.
No, he was Black Hitler, Blitler.
No, he wasn't Blitler because we found out. Remember, there was someone who was actually ahead or over him in the organization.
Oh yeah,
He was just the main propagandist, so he was Blimler, not Blitler.
Okay. Oh God, it was just terrible. That's ancient. That's ancient lore.
I kind of agree with you sometimes, JB. I think it's what the person did, in all honesty. Like, if you're just a stupid thief or like drug charges, okay, prison time. If you did what Tyler Robinson did, or what, I don't know who actually, you know, the story I saw on Wednesday that had me pissed off was the mom who killed 3 of her kids, and then all these moms.
That's the other one. That's whose crime is it anyway? Because you have a bunch of crazy fucking white women that are all coming out in support of the woman who confessed to killing her own children, who all the evidence said killed her own children. And they're coming out saying, nah, it was the father, it was the husband. He
tried to kill her.
Because he looks mean. And they had the justification of he looks mean, which that's a fucked up one. They have the justification of they looked at both of their star signs, and her star sign doesn't kill people. His star sign, though, kills people. And, well, if they were both their star signs, then you know it was toxic and abusive, and he must have been beating her horrifically. And then you have the most recent element of that, which is you have a bunch of crazy women that are holding their children while having absolute breakdowns, filming themselves doing this, and then putting the words same, and I can't remember the woman's name, it's Kimberly or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Putting the words
Lindsay.
Oh, I thought the other one was Lindsay.
I don't know. It's all fuck it all.
Let me quickly look up the name because I'm blanking on the name right now.
Like, it makes me want CPS to check all their hard drives and be like, are your children actually at risk from you? Like there was
It's
this
not even
lady.
CPS check your hard drives. It's more Child Protective Service doing welfare check on your kids.
That's what I
Oh,
mean. Like
Lindsay. Okay, you were right. So they're putting the words "same Lindsay" over video of them having absolute fucking mental breakdowns while holding their children, trying to show solidarity with the woman who strangled 3 of her kids.
I know some of it's performative rotten, but like there was this lady dumping water on her kid. Like she was basically borderline waterboarding her baby until he
Yep.
started crying, and I'm just like, I feel for your husband. Hopefully he's not a freak of nature too, but like, for all I know, he's recording that. I'm like, that poor baby doesn't deserve that because some woman is a crazy person, or like,
Yeah. But you got these what's the word I'm looking for? These individuals that enjoy what's the word I'm looking for? Their fan fiction.
mm-hmm.
And they love their fan fiction so much that they will do anything to promote their fan fiction, even though she fucking said she did it. Words out the horse's mouth. Y'all remember the TikTok's fucking psychic that ages ago?
Oh, the
That,
one
like-
who got fucking raped through the courts because she
Yeah,
kept on
like
saying that a college professor killed 4 women.
Yeah, when she was given so many outs and she took none of them, and yeah, and now she owes like $1 million. When all she had to do was like retract it, even
I saw one of the most insane things in a good long while recently into the Lindsay case. It was from one of those true crime podcast bits of bullshit. And they were interviewing someone that they listed as a consultant forensic astrologer.
what the fuck?
So apparently this insane bitch calls up police departments that are investigating murders and says, well, I read their horoscopes, so here's the new information.
All right, so back in the day, remember Sylvia Brown?
The one who kept on scamming parents, telling them that she could help find their missing kids?
Yep.
Whee.
So ages ago, Sylvia Brown was this amazing wunderkind of a psychic. She had an angel that would tell her everything she needed to know, and whatnot. She also said tell people like their kid is dead. Because she saw it, that's what the angel told her, like she's in a better place. Come find out, she's full of shit.
Wasn't one of the cases that she did? I could be wrong, but I'm vaguely remembering this. Do you remember the black guy that ends up saving the 3 to 4 white teen girls from one house? And
that's not her, because that was ages after she died.
okay, was it another one that did that? Because I remember one of them.
Yeah, the last one.
Said that, oh, she's dead. She's buried near Culvert, and this is what happened to her. And then it turned out that she had been kidnapped and horrifically abused.
Yeah, the last Sylvia Brown one was, she was telling how this would happen, and the girl turns out to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she died in like 93. No, she died in 13. I'm pretty sure. Was that? Is this her? Yes.
The case I'm talking about happened before she died. Then
I just swore that no, because she in 1993 she got found out as a fraud.
just because she was
No,
found out as a fraud didn't mean that she stopped.
Brown made public pronouncements subsequent proven false. Among them notably are in 2002, Brown informed parents of 11-year-old Sean Hornbeck, who had disappeared earlier that year. He had been kidnapped by a dark-skinned Hispanic man with dreadlocks and was now deceased. Hornbeck was found alive in 2007. His kidnapper was a Caucasian, short-haired, in 08, UK television was sanctioned by Ofcom for re-airing the episode of Montel Williams where Brown made the original prediction. In 04, Brown told a mother of kidnapping victim Amy Berry, who disappeared 19 months earlier, she's not alive, honey. And Brown said Berry was in water. She had visions of Berry's jacket in the garage with DNA on it. Berry's mother died 2 years later, believing her daughter was killed. Berry was found alive May 2013. On Larry King Live in 03, predicted that she would die at 88. She died in 2013 at 77. Okay. She worked as a psychic detective spanning 35 cases. In 21 cases, was too vague to be verified. Remaining 14 law enforcement officials or family members stated Brown played no useful role. God damn it.
Oh, you sure that it was Amy Berry and not Amanda Berry?
Amanda Berry, yeah, sorry about that.
It's the one that I was thinking.
Okay.
I remembered it correctly because Amanda Berry was one of the 3 girls that was kidnapped by the fucker. And she was the one, if I remember correctly, that ended up getting outside. And that was the famous guy who went, now, I knew that something had to be wrong when a pretty little white girl came running up to my black ass and gave me a great big hug.
Yeah. Dead giveaway. Mm-hmm. Like they said they were cool with the dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I was almost positive that I was remembering that correctly. So it's good to know that I did remember that she was the one who did that one in particular.
Again, all right, look.
She did that with so many people, though.
Yeah. Black Hammer.
But the fact that there's so many women that are coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, Jesus fucking
it's like
Christ.
Complete psychos, yeah.
Hold on. All right, so I looked up the Black Hammer Party, right? The Black Hammer movie, right? And I honestly like Ghazi's true name, his original name. His name was Augustus Cornelius Raymond Jr. That's a fucking strong ass name. And
yeah, that is
a little
strong name. It's kind of like one person who, great guy in many respects. It infuriates me that he changed his name because, yes, I know Tyr knows actual Cassius Clay.
Yes, because he's
do you know the person that Ali was originally named after, that Cassius Clay was named after?
I know the name is famous. I don't know what for. I mean,
Tyr, do you want to explain Cassius Clay?
Uh-oh.
He was an abolitionist.
Yep.
And he was a religious abolitionist. And he said, he put down a Bible. And if you believe in God, here's my objections to the Bible. Using the Bible. And he goes, and he puts down a pistol. If you don't believe in the Bible, there's my objections to it. Please, come test one of them. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm fucking up the story. Don't get me wrong, but still.
So Cassius Clay was known because he was a diehard abolitionist. He was an early Republican. And he supported Abraham Lincoln. But before he became a ambassador under Lincoln, he was diehard abolitionist in the run-up to the Civil War. And he would go around the South giving these massive speeches about how slavery was immoral. And he would make a comment at some point during almost every single one of them that was, if you object to this and you have logical objection, then we can have a discussion. If you object to this and you don't have a logical objection, find me outside. And he proceeded to have duel after duel after duel and fist fight after fist fight after fist fight, just touring the South, talking shit about slavers.
The Gazi thing, really quickly. All right,
Yep.
So July 19th, 2022, police in Fayetteville, Georgia, received an anonymous call from someone claiming to be held against their will in a home rented by the Black Hammer Party. A SWAT team was sent search a home where they found 10 people inside. 9 walked out willingly, but 18-year-old man identified as Amon T. Amons was killed by a apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The Black Hammer Party claimed that Amon was murdered by SWAT responders. The duration of the standoff was several hours, and the surrounding neighborhoods received shelter-in-place order. Gazi Kodo was arrested and charged with aggravated sodomy, conspiracy, false imprisonment, kidnapping, aggravated assault, and street gang activities. Another man, an associate of Koto, named Xavier H. Rushton, was arrested and charged with kidnapping, assault, false imprisonment, and street gang activities. Rushton took a plea deal, which includes both a sentence of 20 years in Georgia State Penitentiary with a possibility of parole in July of 2025 to give testimony during the state case against Koto. The group later under joint investigation by the FBI and local authorities. According to the local street gang investigators, the group had been under surveillance by the police for months prior to the incident. All right, on 2025, January 29, 2025, the district attorney of Fayette County, Georgia, decided to drop all charges against Koto. Chief Assistant Prosecutor David Stutter explained that the expected testimony of Rushton and key witnesses was unreliable and the case languished for too long. Furthermore, according to Stutter, Koto's lawyers claimed that Koto was thereby out of the activist business. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution wrote that Koto is free, but his Black Hammer Party is in shambles, as the group's many social media channels are dormant for the past year or longer. The last post switching between posting pro-Russian propaganda and raising money for Koto's legal defense. By January 2025, only one Black Hammer Party member was in prison. Rushton, who was arrested in Fayetteville, police served in Georgia for aggravated assault, built a plea deal with prosecutors. So in other words, this fucker is free, but hey, the Black Hammer movement is a dead thing.
Mm-hmm. So going back to Cassius Clay. So Cassius Clay went around pissing everyone off. He manumitted almost all of his slaves, if not all of his slaves, that he was given through inheritance. through inheritance, then started just touring the South, talking shit about slavery, and challenging people to fight him. Won a shit ton of fist fights, won a shit ton of duels. At one point, the first assassination attempt on him, a bunch of Southern slave owners hired a gunman to kill him. The gunman started pulling out his gun. The moment that Cassius saw him pulling out his gun, he reached for his, apparently had a chest scabbard on a fucking Bowie knife.
What the fuck?
So he goes to pull out his Bowie knife. As he's pulling out his Bowie knife, he had this silver butt to the scabbard that ends up shifting over his heart as the gunman fires. It hits the silver, gets embedded in the silver of the scabbard as Cassius Clay just runs at him, tanking the impact from the shot, and just starts hacking at him. And I mean going to town. He splits the guy's nose from top to bottom. He takes off one of his ears, leaving it dangling with a strip of flesh holding it on. And just is all over the guy until the people that employed the man to kill Cassius Clay end up tossing, or getting in between them and tossing the would-be assassin over a fence to get him away from him.
As you do.
He don't fucking
Assassin
around.
tossing.
So, not being content with that, like 2 years after that, he's continuing his rounds of talking shit. He starts up a anti-slavery newspaper and publishing company and just starts targeting the South in sending newspapers.
Again,
Distribution.
he don't fuck around. Yeah.
He gets in a shit ton more fist fights, shit ton more duels. Just keeps on winning. Fist fight after fist fight, duel after duel. And he continues this effectively right up until the Civil War. Oh, also, he opened up a all races college.
Okay.
That, let me quickly check where it was located. I want to say it was it was in Kentucky. So he opens up a race-inclusive college in Kentucky in the run-up to the Civil War.
Nice.
He runs for president. He doesn't run for president. So he becomes one of the founders of the Republican Party. He specifically founds the Kentucky chapter of the Republican Party, and becomes friends with Abraham Lincoln, who he then pushes for the presidency. He was briefly considered for vice president, but that ends up going to Hamlin. And then he becomes an ambassador to Russia.
Nice.
And I think I remember he ran for presidency or ran for an office later on as well. But absolute fucking mad lad.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking insane, my friend. Fucking insane.
Oh, also, as the Civil War kicked off, there were no federal troops in Washington at the very start of the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Clay rounded up 300 volunteers, formed up a volunteer force that defended the White House and the U.S. Naval Yard until federal troops could move into the city. And those men became known as Cassius Clay's Washington Guards.
There's so much in the name.
Mm-hmm.
And to change it, it is the same reason why I dislike the transgender thing.
Mm-hmm.
My creator created me as I am intended by his design plan, and for me to say that his design plan is wrong is a bridge too fucking far for me.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's first gift to me is my name. That's the first thing she ever gave me. And to say that the name that she gave me is wrong is another insult I just don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's her first gift. So, no. Mm-mm.
I'm
that's
just
why I would
glad
never
that
change
my
it.
mother got to name me instead of my father.
I'm glad my mother named me because I'm glad my grandfather chose my name because I could have been a fucking Henry.
I was almost named Balaam.
What the fuck?
Like I'm some sort of Amish fucker.
Well, that would fit your dwarven personality. Thunden, Balaam,
Yep.
Thorin.
Yeah. My father apparently wanted to name me Balaam.
Alrighty.
So even my I guess would be my online name is an incorporation of my middle name. My middle name is Alexander. And the reason why I use that instead of my given name is because it's my grandfather's name. So, again, my name was chosen, and I love my name. Granted, I really wish she'd have named me Alexander as part of my first, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've ever told you a story about my grandfather's name.
I don't believe so.
All right, so all through my childhood, I knew my grandfather as Charles Alexander. Like that's his first name and his middle name, Charles Alexander. And at his funeral, so one of my great aunt would always call him Alec. And thought nothing of it. His name is Charles Alexander. So maybe she's just using his middle name because it was A-L-E-C. Alec. Or Alec. So at his funeral, however, I'm looking at his obituary and it says Alexander Charles. That's not his name.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a while after the funeral. We come. I asked my aunt. The kids grandkids sitting around with the rest all sitting around. At least the older ones. And I'm like, why is it like his name was Charles Alexander? Why is it Alexander Charles? And she explained to the story. Now, back in the day, my grandfather and his siblings were bits of how should we say hotheads. In the South.
Oh.
Yeah. So he got into some shit in the South. And remember back in the day, there really wasn't much tracking done because it wasn't something they did. You didn't have pictures of people and shit like that, to the early 70s. Well, not the early, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So he moved all his brothers and sisters, my grandmother and all of her sisters and brothers, they all just moved up north because they were all into some shit down there. And to further separate themselves from, well, I'm not Charles Alexander X, Y, and Z. I'm not Alexander Charles X, Y, and Z. I'm Charles Alexander X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different people. And back then, that's all you fucking needed to do to become a different person. Move to a brand new fucking city, change your just swap your first and your last, your middle name, brand new person.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking insane. Nowadays, you can't do that, but back then, where again, that's all you fucking had to do. It was wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I never learned what he did that got him. Because they were from the South. That, yeah. I wonder if my aunt knows. Because everybody that would know is now dead. So. That sucks. But it had to be some shit. Sorry.
I have to go looking through old Southern newspapers to find out.
Yeah.
It's like you find out that they were like the southern end of like the bootlegging black community, and you know they were booze embezzling or something.
It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me that they like bootlegger or some dumb shit like that. It would be insane. But it is what it is. It's just old memories. I'm sorry to run down that tangent. My mistake.
Oh, it's not a problem at all. It's a good story and it's interesting.
Tears of Southern Belle. Be nice.
But yeah, I looked up the link to the Fat Electrician video on Cassius Clay because it is fantastic, and shared it in chat for anyone that hasn't seen it before.
Ryan says I almost had 2 middle names, which would have been fine with me. I don't think gay counts as a middle name, Rodden.
No, it wasn't gay. It was buttfucker.
Rodden Buttfucker Corpse. He got it.
Yeah.
No, it's Rodden Gaylord Corpse.
No. He said he almost had 2. Remember? So it's Rotten Gaylord Buttfucker Corpse.
You're right.
You need 2 in order to have 2.
My mistake. You know, they used to call him Gay Corpse, but he didn't like it, so he had to change his name. He shortened it to Rotten Corpse. Got it. Appreciate the people who appreciate history. I kind of want to see Sanguine go off on Terashima.
Tanegashima.
Tanegashima. Who the hell is Tanegashima?
Okay. Tanegashima is a Japanese island that is... I can't remember which prefecture it's part of. But it is famous because it is the birthplace of the Japanese matchlock.
Okay.
It was one of the locations...
Alago Bank.
Yeah, it also ended up being a massive rocket launch complex and bunch of other things. So lots of shit that could go boom.
Wait, really sorry. Buttfucker isn't hyphenated, dumbass. So that would be... No. It's not. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. A lot of samurai use guns, which the people that go, well, they didn't use guns. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They used guns a hell of a lot. Now, the big change that was Oda Nobunaga was What if
fire.
peasants and peasants in proper firing positions, rotating fire, and having rank fire? That was the big Oda Nobunaga, holy shit, this fucks up everyone realization.
And he still he boy was too clever for his own good.
Well, the main thing that I kind of like thinking about is there's the theory that Ieyasu Tokugawa knew about the assassination before the assassination.
Makes sense.
Because if you don't know the story, Oda Nobunaga sent Ieyasu Tokugawa with his army. I think he was sent to the north.
Yes, he was sent to the north to defend the position there. When he heard about, like he
then talked to another general, the general that actually ended up assassinating him, which
Mitsuhide.
Yes. So was sending him to the south. What happened was that general started going south, then returned north and killed Oda Nobunaga. And then almost conveniently quick after that happened, Ieyasu Tokugawa shows back up after getting word and then kills the assassin of Oda Nobunaga and takes over in his place.
All right. So you gotta remember, he was still fighting. He had when he heard about it, he was surrounding the castle because I know that story.
Fast. He got there fast.
Yeah, but he was still surrounding the castle. And he told him, like, hey, you send me your lord. Surrender. Send me the lord of the castle, and I'll behead him, and we're done. Okay. he gets there, and then he retreats. Like so. I don't know. I mean, a forced march could answer that. Mind you,
but it is a blistering march for him to arrive as quickly as he did.
Oh, you forgot Hideyoshi. All right, yeah. How did Hideyoshi? So Hideyoshi is the one that defeated Mitsuhide. If I'm not mistaken, it was he that killed Mitsuhide and took over. The reason why Ieyasu...
Oh, sorry, yeah. It was Hideyoshi, not Ieyasu that I was thinking of.
So
that
the reason why,
suspiciously fast.
Yeah. All right, so the reason why Ieyasu took over was because he worked out a deal with Hideyoshi. Hey, I'm loyal to you, man. We scrape. So I don't have to send you levies. I'll just send you money. Okay, all right, that works. And when Hideyoshi decided to invade Korea, he committed so much of his fucking forces to trying to take Korea, it backfired, and he was like decimated. And I think by the time he died, his army was his successor was so weakened that again, Ieyasu, I still got my entire fucking army. I'm choking now.
But yeah,
Fight
sorry,
me.
I did say the wrong person. It was Hideyori that was the one that arrived suspiciously fast.
Yeah. Fight me. just the words. Fight me. Oh, you ain't got shit to fight me with? That sounds more like a you problem than a me problem. Yes, I know I am such a fucking weeb.
Well, you should be, but I was sitting here for a second thinking about that. Like, I actually enjoy that side of Japan that doesn't mind retelling their stories because they're good stories. Like, you know, regardless of what side you're on in the battle, it doesn't matter. It was a really, it's an amazing fight story.
Yeah.
I look at like England's especially because like I can still understand their language and like parts of Europe and stuff, and I'm like, I really wish you guys would do more of that. You
Well,
know,
no, they do have those wild stories, like generals appearing at exactly.
that's not what I was.
Oh,
I
sorry.
meant like recreations of those stories. Like Japan does a really decent job of recreating that story, let alone their own history stories. I I know that they do have recreations. It's just with the technology we have nowadays, and I know there's the fear of volkification, and I don't want them doing to them what they did to the Odyssey, but I really wish that they would do that. Like,
Well, they tell the story of Robin of Locksley over and over and over
yeah,
and over again. They tell the story of King Arthur over. Not. Don't get me wrong. I love the stories of King Arthur, and I love the story of Robin of Locksley. But they tell those stories over and over again. Like, we the same way that the Scottish tell William Wallace over and over again. The same way Q Cullen is told over and over again. These stories have permeated and evolved into like world myths and shit. I don't think Oda Nobunaga and his surrounding life belongs strictly to the Japanese anymore because we tell the story of Oda Nobunaga, even though we're not connected to history. Just like Cleopatra, it's no longer Egyptian history anymore, or belongs solely to the Egyptians. We tell this, even though we tell it badly, and she does connect to other people's history, like Rome. You can't tell the story of Caesar without Caesar and Mark Antony and Augustus without at least having 2-3 chapters dedicated to Cleopatra.
it's just when HBO
What?
does a current day story on like their own kings and stuff, they make certain characters black when it doesn't make sense
Yep.
because everybody
Yeah.
knows what that Elizabeth looked like. You don't get that pale and ginger with a black mom. Just letting you know.
Or see, there's one thing that constantly angers me. So, technically, Queen Elizabeth, one of Queen Elizabeth's ancestors, way back when, was technically a Muslim girl. One of her ancestors are descended from like Muslims. And
Yeah,
they
but what
keep trying to-
country?
Yeah, but they keep trying to bring it up. Oh well, she's Muslim, So the royal family's Muslim. Like, no. How long have that been bred out of them? Like, if you go back far enough, you could say I'm fucking Chinese. Go back far enough.
You go back far enough, and a lot of that could be. People don't understand how big Russia is or how far back their history goes, let alone Ukraine and stuff, like anywhere Slavic. So, like, the idea that she was just a really super brown woman is where I'm like, that's not true, right?
Well, you got also remember something else. Africa doesn't have a monopoly on dark skin.
No, we don't.
So you have dark skinned Asian people. The Indians are particularly dark skinned Asian. They aren't. They're also dark skinned Japanese people. Predates any interaction with Africa.
Well, darker, not necessarily dark.
Yeah, but by complexion, you would add them to the brown spectrum. If you didn't know any other, cat, get off the goddamn keyboard. If you didn't know any other feature, god damn it, cat, What was I? If you didn't know any, if you just saw their skin complexion and not their face, you would think they were dark. They were brown people.
Well, the reason I say the things that I do too isn't to deny that people have traveled and stuff. It's just I think that's the problem with current day people, and even including myself. Like that's the reason I go back to history all the time is because our ancestors traveled a lot. Like there's actually
Yeah.
like portions of China where you can find out where white people and Chinese people first connected. Like they do have crossover. They do have families that eventually crossed over. Like they have.
I mean, Marco Polo and we trade. We used to trade a lot. Like the Silk Road flowed through what parts of Europe.
Oh, it stretched from Europe down through the Middle East, then up and continued east through parts of southern Asia before swinging up into China.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like that.
So again, it's very much possible that you go back far enough, someone somewhere has someone in them.
But it's like Elizabeth Warren at that point, Like
Yeah, it's so diluted.
and even then he was South American, so I'm like, well, maybe, but he came from the wrong end, lady.
Oh God, Elizabeth Warren. Oh Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, it's one of those things where I won't deny people their heritage, because I do think there's a little bit of level of rudeness, but there is that level of like, I'm 2% this, and all of a sudden my whole heritage revolves around that, and I'm like, you really don't understand your history if that's what you think. That's like me being like, you know, Tier, if I did a DNA and me and found out that I was related to Mongolians just a slight bit, I wouldn't be surprised because part of my family is Eastern European a little bit. So, just saying, if you know where that comes from, well, that was Raiders.
Yeah, but even then, it's is all right. So half her conjecture was family stories. Now, I'm not saying that those family stories are wrong.
I don't hold a grudge against it either. I'm just like, well, like, there's like the Gauls and then there's the Huns and like they had like that cartoon that was cute and I don't
Asterix and
was,
Obelix.
Yeah, it was cute. I liked it.
Asterix and Obelix is amazing.
I'm JP says I'm British, Scottish, and Irish shit. So I'm a basic bitch. I don't fuck. Honestly, I don't care. I don't. Look, I respect my ancestors for surviving what they survived and getting me to this point. But I'm an American. Like, I will know no other land than this one. I will claim no other land than this one. I will live on this soil, and I probably will die on this soil. I have no aspiration of going anywhere else but this soil.
It's the thing that the current college kids really don't seem to understand or grasp. We've all been living and coexisting here since the settlers, which is why the current group that are cropping in and claiming that they're doing the same thing, it's not the same thing. It's not. That's like the French going to England and being like, oh, well, to a certain degree, it's like, no, yeah, it's different when it's a pre-settled country that's been built and people now live and they have laws and rules of order and things. And also, like, we've had years and years and years and years of melting together. Like, that's actually what the melting pot meant, is it was a slow trickle of people at a time. So, like Tier, we can't be anything else. Like I might be okay in Scotland to a certain degree, but here's the thing: most people in Scotland don't really speak English like I do. they barely speak English like the English do. You know, it's the odd person who practices enough of the English accent just to do acting classes or to teach or whatever. But a lot of them have like entirely different language, a very thick accent, and I would be lost as shit with their rules because I've been Canadian my entire life. I only know how to live Canadian, and I know our laws are based off of theirs. I know our court system is based off of theirs, and I know our country is based off of theirs. But that doesn't mean it's the same. That's like me saying you guys are the same.
Do you know what myth or legend would be hilarious to do in full?
What?
In a move or a series of movies or television series?
What?
The myth of Cuchulainn. Or rather, the legend of Cuchulainn. Because there would be one scene that would confuse the fuck out of everyone. Do you know what scene it would be, Tier?
Oh, no, no.
Cuchulainn witnessing the crucifixion.
Okay.
Yeah, the Irish have a legend about Cuchulainn, where in their legend, it's when Jesus was being crucified, every peoples on earth sent emissaries to witness the execution. Cuchulainn was the Irish emissary.
Oh no.
Wow.
Poor guy.
But doing that myth, or doing that legend, completely straight in a film would be hilarious.
Like the guy just picked the wrong straw. Like, you know, like, hey man, one of us has to go. Shit, me? Alright.
It would be hilarious because you would be watching Irish epic mythological battles and figures, and then randomly in the middle of the fucking movie, Cuchulainn is in the Middle East, and you'd have to, because it was every people sent emissaries, you would have to have various other figures there from every group. That could be your multiracial scene of the movie.
Got the one of the Egyptian gods there.
And then it pops back to Cuchulainn kicking ass in Ireland.
I now want both versions of that. The one that's actually serious, like a decent take on it, and then the one that's done where it's Jacksepticeye. Top of the morning to you. I mean, he hasn't done that in years because he got sick of it, but he became such a stereotype. I don't watch his stuff.
But yeah, just the mental image of someone not knowing about that legend and going to see the movie Cuchulainn or watch the show Cuchulainn, and it hits about intermission point, and why are there a shit ton of Romans? Why is there sand? There's no desert in Ireland. Holy shit, is that the crucifixion? What the fuck? And then it goes straight back to Ireland.
Yeah, you gotta go. We're sending you. What? Okay. Yes.
And I'm not saying this to suck up to China. For other people that I thought were interesting because they were weirdly insane, the first emperor of China. Like, I remember watching a really decent documentary on it. And I've always thought he was kind of weirdly, like, insane and a genius at the same time. Like, terrifying. Yeah.
He was quite literally mad as a hatter.
Like,
for the exact same reason.
But it makes him interesting at the same time. Like, it's a time period I definitely wouldn't want to go to, but to learn about, yes. Because, like, I couldn't imagine being under him at all, because like he was that level of crazy. Like he go into loving you to like, oh, you're gonna die.
And in case anyone doesn't know what I mean by he was mad as a hatter, and for the exact same reason,
mercury poison.
Yep. So
God, let me explain.
Okay.
So in Chinese alchemy, they believe that you can achieve immortality by consuming a solution that included mercury. So he wanted to become immortal, and he consumed mercury. And if I'm
shit ton.
Yep.
yes, and if I'm not mistaken, hatters back in the day, didn't they do something with mercury itself?
Yeah,
Like
it
they
was
It
had to
was
supposed
a
breathe.
to.
mercury salt.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
supposed to. It was supposed to be a cure for syphilis.
Well, there's that, but the Mad as a Hatter comes from the use of mercury salts.
Mhm.
Let me find the exact salt because I'm blanking on it.
The one thing with China, and I don't know if it's true or not. I don't even know if they know if it's true or not. But they
So
think
it was mercury nitrate. And
Okay.
it was used because it gave a brilliantly orange color to various things, including animal fur and a number of other things, which they used it in a process because it gave an orange color called carroting. So they would use that in order to get the look that they wanted, but you're using mercury salts. The mercury salts go into your system, the mercury salts break down, you have mercury, you go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hence the term mad as a hatter.
Yeah, because it made the hairs very soft, very pliable, also dyed them.
There's a lot of stuff that went into old skinning and dyeing. There's a reason those were placed outside of towns a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the main one that was always outside of town, other than tanning, paper making.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to have your city next to a pulp mill.
Yep.
But one of the things I'm curious about with China, like I don't like I said I don't know if they know is they suspect that first emperor might be in a space where they found like overwhelming levels of mercury
Oh,
because he was buried with so much.
They did GPR and
Yeah.
soil analysis and a bunch of other things. So what they have been able to determine with all of the indirect imaging that they've been able to do of his burial chamber, it has a large map of what was then the known world, where the water was apparently mercury rather than water,
Mm.
and that mercury has seeped into the ground. Also, everything is kind of coated with mercury now in that room, so they haven't opened the room since, insanely, mercury contaminated.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So essentially he's in that Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, so it's an extremely ornate room with this massive map of the known world at the time, of his known world, rather, at the time.
Mm-hmm.
On the floor, where all the water, so all the ocean to the east was mercury. All the rivers were mercury. All the lakes were mercury.
It's one of those things where like I really wish that they would put drone technology towards things like that. Like for spaces where humans really can't safely go, a drone or something with a camera doesn't have to be a flying one. Like I'm being specific, like anything that can just move on its own. So it could be on wheels, whatever. But it's just,
drone.
because it's one of those spaces where like China can only speculate on what's all down there. Like they do think it's a burial for more than just him because of like what the story says and all the evidence
And the
kinda
sheer
looks like it.
size of the room in the imaging. Because it is a big chamber.
Jesus.
It's one of those things where like I agree with you here. There's just some parts of history where, like, I'll acknowledge where it comes from because you should. Like, that's just respectful and right. But it
Yes.
is world history at this point because it's where we all came from. Like, where
Mhm.
do we all come from, and then where do we link up and things like that. So it's world tree. I consider, yeah.
It's as a species, there is human history, and that's all it ever will be. You know, I may not have a direct link to say the first emperor, but the story is still being told here, right now, in this given moment. The story of Nobunaga is still being told here, right now, in this given moment. These stories are still being told and taught. Yes, it does. We don't have the significance here, but I'm sure somewhere across the water, there's tales someone telling, yeah, like Pecos fucking Bill and John Henry. You know, those stories are being told across the water somewhere. You know, so again, to lay claim, if you're going to tell history, fucking tell it the correct way.
It's one of the things that drives me nuts with Hollywood. Like, I understand that they can't always get what they want either, but like for recreations of history, like the stuff that the history buffs really really want is stuff that's done actually kind of accurately. Which, if, like, say, okay, I know I've been leaning on the Chinese, but that's easy to do because they are still alive, so they have records and they have their own people who study their own history and things. So, like, with Hollywood, I'm like, why can't you just hire some people? I understand it means a translator and stuff, and actually recreate something. Like, try to create a world based off of what you have, but don't make ruins. Like, if you've got a world that's based off of the medieval England, they're not living in ruins. They were living in castles and towns and villages, and they were set up the way that they were. Like,
Well, you can still have ruins
Yeah.
because a lot
Yes.
of, if you're telling a story in medieval England, for instance,
There were
you
ruins.
will have a lot
Yes.
of Roman ruins. And you'll have a lot of Roman ruins that have been repurposed.
But that
Which-
makes it more interesting, Sanguine.
Yep, that's what I was just about to say. So you have, for instance, a old Roman lighthouse at Dover Castle. There's, for anyone who hasn't been to Dover Castle, when you go there, there's an old castle bailey, a new castle bailey, or newer castle bailey. They're still like fucking ancient, but, well, not ancient, but they are still like 500-600 year old is the new castle bailey. But within the old castle bailey, you of course have the old Norman castle, which was the Plantagenet's main castle. Then you have a old fortified Roman lighthouse tower that is a ruin currently, but it was used by the Plantagenets as well. And you have a bunch of other things. You have Cardiff. You have the old Cardiff Ring Castle. You have a newer Cardiff Castle that then was replaced by the now Cardiff. It is technically still a castle, but I would call it almost more a manor. And then you have the wall for that, the bailey for that, and then underneath the bailey for Cardiff Castle is a Roman wall.
Okay.
You have these ruins as well then. Just you have to know what will be the ruins. Your ruins, when you're doing a medieval film, a medieval period piece, will be Roman ruins. It's not going to be medieval ruins during your medieval period piece. It's
Something that
going to
makes
be
sense.
Roman ruins.
Like, that would make sense to me, and that makes it more interesting because, yeah. That's what I mean by accuracy. Like, those little details really add to a story.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that would be the way to do it. You don't. It doesn't need to be that there aren't ruins. It just needs to be have the ruins be the right ruins.
Yes, exactly. Because it builds the atmosphere and it actually makes it accurate, and you can actually see it from their view a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know there's some things that people don't want to recreate, because in all honesty, if you, like, medieval, yet again, as an example, by our comparisons, it's going to seem filthy. It just is. By theirs, it's normal.
Yes and no. They bathed a lot more than people think that they do.
Yes, they did.
It's just that it wasn't anywhere near to the level that we do currently.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't covered in shit 24/7, 365. This isn't, as Blizzard just said, a Nurglite paradise. This is... You had people that were more cleanly, you had people that were less cleanly. But you had colors throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything needs to be dung colored, and dark, which is what we tend to do for medieval movies for some fucking reason.
I have no fucking clue why.
There were reds, there were blues, there were purples, there were greens.
I think the Hollywood has this idea that everyone was just dirt poor. Like, there's actually a level to colors in certain time periods based off of where you live.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like some people had more of a range because, yeah, they're rich, they can afford the dyes.
Or certain colors were forbidden. Like certain, you
Yes.
couldn't wear red because that was Cardinals colors.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But like it, you know, like certain merchants that got rich, like, yeah, they could afford certain dyes. They were allowed to use those dyes, as long as it was within their station, because that's still something that they don't understand, because it's something that Hollywood absolutely avoids talking about. It used to be classism.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know, we still have it. It was just a different way of going about it. And color coding is a part of classism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that doesn't mean, oh, you don't have any colors. Like, if you're wearing, like, browns and grays and things like that, there's a good chance you're working with your hands. At best. And even then, like, I don't think they understand browns. Browns and blacks are actually hard to get.
Yeah.
You're getting grays and, like, beiges maybe, and, like, off greens, like...
All right, I'm gonna have to dip out, guys. It is
Yep.
half.
So,
I know it's
parting
halfway
words?
between. Be passionate about Sanguine devour him. Don't let the Sanguine devour you.
If I hunger, you have no choice in the matter. I shall feast.
Yay! Food is good.
Jen?
Well, I still hold a grudge against YouTube, because in Satsu's chat I wrote Duhas, or not Duhas, sorry, I keep doing that. Dea's fault. And then YouTube decided that meant that I wanted that translated, and I was like, no, Dea's fault is Dea's fault. I understand what it translates to. The point is what it's supposed to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it did that in front of me, and I didn't screenshot it for Satsu, so I could be like, see, YouTube dictates what I say nowadays, and I don't know if that's Canada updates or what, but yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Fair enough.
Dea's fault.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave off with... Let's see. Since we were talking about the... Whose crime it is it anyways?
Ooh.
Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent.
Yes.
And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Good night,
Night.
everybody.
And now I click this, but it takes a little bit. So suck